Alright. Let's move our Twitch chat off to the side here. Alright, so hello Internet, and welcome to another episode of It Builds Character. Hopefully the volume is reasonable for you right now. I hope so. I don't think I can really make it any lower. There we go. So, welcome to another episode of It Builds Character. This episode is probably going to be pretty straightforward. We're building Captain America. Steve Rogers Captain America, depending on your preference. So we're not really building, Winter Soldier Captain America or Punisher Captain America. We are building traditional Steve Rogers Captain America. I feel like because it's the most popular thing, and with Infinity War right around the corner, we'll probably build Marvel Cinematic Universe version of Captain America, because that just sort of makes the most sense to me. Also, sorry I didn't get last episode out of It's Build Character out, the episode about a 20th level character. I will put that out. I've been still editing for PAX, so it's been a little while. Again, real quick for people who haven't caught up or are unaware of how It Build Character works, the way I do it is I build the characters at 12th level. I build them all using standard array, and they're using only published 5th edition content. That means, let's adjust this microphone here a little bit. There we go. Sorry, folks. That means, when I say published 5th edition content, that means things that are in published books, like Xanathar's Guide to Everything, or Player's Handbook, as well as Unearthed Arcana. So we're going to be building Captain America today. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your thought process, this should probably be a relatively short video, all things considered. Cap is, while an interesting character, mechanically in 5th edition, he doesn't do a whole hell of a lot. So he's super strong and super resilient, and he's got pretty decent dex, and he's pretty mentally capable. So we got a lot of that going on, like we do with a lot of these characters we find in anime and comic books. They're a little bit better than your average 5th edition character, and again, some of it falls into the trap of trying to build a comic character in 5th edition. I do build them all typically at 12th level, so let's just jump into this. So first, let's start with our stats. So, oops, I didn't hit a playlist. I hit the same song on repeat. Let me see if I can't find my playlists here. Thank you, Axel, for the stream. I'm actually just going to go hit it on my stream deck. 2 seconds. Alright, that should hopefully be the playlist. So, we'll see how that goes. Okay, so back into Captain America. So, we build with standard array, so that's 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. And again, we have another scenario of where's the 8 go? So, I'm going to put a 15 in strength for Cap. I'll put a 14 in constitution for Cap. A 13 in dex. 12 in wisdom, 10 in intelligence, 8 in charisma. I know I can hear you arguing, Internet. Captain America is a very attractive man. And while I will agree with you, I am still a firm believer that attractiveness in Dungeons and Dragons is not necessarily 100, like, charisma is a number. It doesn't necessarily equate to your character's physical attractiveness. That is a trope. That is a trope that I feel like a lot of people fall into, and while it is, it's a way in which to judge people, Captain America is a leader, and I don't disagree with your statement. But as far as statistics go, I would feel like Captain America himself, as far as statistics go, we would focus more heavily on his physical abilities. So that is that. Yep, that is sort of what I was thinking, Salami. So let's go pull up the fighter, because realistically, I think we're probably all in agreement when we say that Captain America is a fighter. You could make the argument that he's a paladin, I guess, but I feel like Captain America is more of a paladin in ideals than he is in actual traits. He doesn't have spell casting. We can pull some stuff from paladin to you know, pull in some things, but you know, he's not really... it doesn't... Fighter and Paladin, it just doesn't really mix. The Paladin stuff, the spells is really what throws me off. He's just real strong. So we're gonna jump down to Fighter. You could maybe argue some Monk. I wouldn't disagree with you. I would agree with you, Salami, except Purple Dragon Fighter from the Sword Coast Adventures guide is just the worst fighter subclass. And that's not... that's just a mechanical imbalance, I feel like, on that. There's actually, the Sword Coast Adventures guide suffers from that in general. The Battle Rager Barbarian, the Purple Dragon Fighter, they really just didn't know. I feel like they weren't really keen and understanding on how to build subclasses when they made the Sword Coast Adventures guide. And it shows. Granted, they did do the Storm Sorcerer, but it was okay. And the Blade Singer is phenomenal, if not OP in some senses. But, the Warlock, have you ever seen anybody play that Warlock? The Undying Warlock? I've never seen anybody even consider that for a second. And then the monks, Long Death and Sun Soul, are pretty solid. I like the Long Death monk the more I look at it. I'm a fan. I might try to play that one time. Oh, there's the Swashbuckler and the Mastermind. That's true. Swashbuckler got reprinted in Xanathar's, though, because it was so good, I feel like. They're like, hey, look, we did good on this one. Yes, Axel, link that in the chat. Salami, if you're looking for a new Battle Rager, I had built a Battle Rager that I was going to publish, and I pitched it to Axel to give me some feedback. And Axel kind of took it and basically fixed a lot of the stuff that I had left out. And he made it better. So that is the Path of the Spined Ravager. He made it a lot less Sword Coast, Faerunian themed and more generic. That applies to all classes, not just dwarves. And actually, we have somebody playing one of those, and they're a big fan so far. But anyway, back to Captain America. So, and there's the link in the chat to the updated Battle Rager, or Spined Ravager, if you will. So we're going to go here, Strength and Con saves. So Captain America is going to be a human, obviously, as that is what he is. Ability score, improvement. And we're going to say he's going to get it. We're going to go a +1 strength. This is going to go to 16. And a +1 dex. So that's going to go to 14. So that's where he's starting. And he does start with we'll just give him proficiency in athletics, I guess. And he's going to get some more later on. And he is a soldier. So we'll get to all that. But he gets a feat at the start. So, I think I would argue I'm gonna give him the Inspiring Leader feat, and we're gonna fix some things, but I'm gonna give him the Inspiring Leader feat, because I feel like Captain America was a leader like he had the qualities of being an inspiring leader even before he was subjected to the super soldier serum. That just kind of elevated things that he already had in him. So I'm going to say that that is part of that. So we're going to give him the Inspiring Leader feat. So that is, what is that? Take 10 minutes. Give up to 6 allies. Charm plus level temp HP. Yes, to Axel's point, download the PDF for that. So that is what we've got there. So this is what we're looking at the start for Captain America, is these stats. So we're gonna go a human. He gets, we gave him athletics. Let's grab his 2 feats, or his 2 skills rather, from being a soldier for his background, which are going to be athletics and intimidation. Not really necessarily Cap's style, but athletics and intimidation. We're gonna lose that, or switch intimidation over to acrobatics, and then his 2 fighter ones. He gets 2 from the fighter list, which we're gonna go with insight and perception. There we go. Okay. So, right now he's looking at acrobatics, athletics, insight, intimidation, and perception as his skills. So, now comes the fun part. Again, as I say often in these, I try not to do much in the way of homebrew content, with the exception of magic items, or where it makes the most sense. So, Super Soldier Serum is a thing, right? So, we're going to have to give Captain America the Super Soldier Serum. It's part of his character class. So, we're going to say right here, Super Soldier Serum. And now we need to decide what the Super Soldier Serum gives Cap, because it does give him things. Plus 20 charisma. I'm gonna say that we know it obviously increases his strength. We know that it obviously will increase his constitution. It potentially will increase his health. It will give him resistances to... what else will it give him? It'll give him, I would say, resistance to poison. Again, if we're building MCU Captain America, he can't even get drunk because his body metabolizes out the alcohol so fast. It's also probably, I mean, he also has a healing factor as well. So I think we got to add a couple of things here. So I think I should pull up the Dungeon Master Guide, because we may, I don't know, pull some stuff from that as examples. Let us see here. Dungeon Master Guide. I don't really feel like it I don't feel like Cap... I mean, he is faster. I guess I can't argue with that he is faster than your average person when it comes to movement speed. I don't necessarily disagree with that. So right off the bat, we've got the belts of the various giant strengths. So I'm just looking at those as kind of a reference. So Cap is, like, peak human physical condition is 20. Our peak player character in general physical condition is 20. And I would say Cap at least has more than that. So 22 at a minimum, if not more. So it's tricky, right? So Cap could have... I mean, I'm just looking at giants in D&D. We see him in the newest Infinity War trailer, like, holding Thanos back. We saw him do the whole helicopter thing, where he's holding the helicopter with just, like, his inner arms. So dude is pretty strong. And he's got a lot of... I'm not going to give him, like, bonus HP. I will increase his constitution probably as part of it. And then I might give him, like, a slight healing factor and maybe resistance to poison damage. Again, he is a superhero, right? So you got to factor all of that in. And again, especially because Cap, most of his stuff comes from who he is and his training. He's got the shield, but that's, like, his thing. Like, that's the only thing he has. And honestly, we can't do that much with the shield. We can do a little, but that's about it. So, let's take a look back over here. So I'm gonna say Super Soldier Serum, because it wasn't like it raised his... It buffed him up immediately. Yeah. There's Sentinel Shield. We might have a couple other things we're gonna add in here. So we're gonna go... I'm gonna say... That's con 22, so we're gonna go right here. We're gonna make these. I'm gonna make these just straight up 22. Mostly I'm doing that because I don't want to be like, gives you a +8 to strength, or +6 to strength, because that gets a little weird. So I'm gonna say resistance to poison damage and advantage on saving throws versus poison. I think I'm just gonna give him, which is unfortunate because I was trying to think about what kind of, you know what? I was gonna make Cap a champion. Yeah, you're right. If we're gonna swap them, that's right. Let's make this the 6. This would be 15, or no, it would be 16. Done. Yeah, if we're gonna set stats, you're absolutely right, Axel. If we're gonna, he was a super duper weakling before that, so that makes sense. So, and we had this was a 15, and we raised or no, 15, 14. This is a 14. Sure, let's make his wisdom 14, and we'll make this 12. There we go. Cap. Now that's his new stats. So let's talk a little bit about this. What do you think Captain America's subclass is? I was originally gonna make him a champion fighter because, like, while Cap is pretty cool, he's, you know, typically like. I'm thinking now, though, I'm thinking more Battle Master Fighter seems to be what I'm thinking. Because he's a leader, right? That's sort of his deal, right? He's a leader in combat, and that's why we gave him the Inspiring Leader feat. So I feel like, and if you think about a lot of what the abilities he could do as a Battle Master Fighter, if you did those with the shield, like the trip attack and the disarming attack, but rather than having to be hit with a melee attack, they could be done at range with the shield. That could be pretty cool. So I'm thinking that he may have to be a Battle Master Fighter. I think that might work out the best for him. And I'm curious to see what you guys think. Because I'm thinking about giving him, just as a part of the Super Soldier Serum, this ability right here from the Battle Master Fighter. Survivor. At the start of each of your turns, you regain hit points equal to 5 plus your con mod. If you don't have more than half your hit points. So I think I'm going to give him this as part of the soup. This is going to be his healing factor. Because his healing factor isn't, like, it's good, but it's not, like, Wolverine level healing factor. So I think that evens out. So, there we go. Oh, yes. He will definitely get that now that we have free stat points at the moment here. So, alright. So he's going to be a fighter level 12. We've decided that. And yeah, we have a bunch of free feats to throw around. So he's going to be a feat machine. Is basically what we're at now, because this is where we are with no ability score improvements, and we're a level 12 fighter, so we're gonna have some fun here. Okay, so let's start doing some fighter stuff. How about that? So we've got a fighting style. So do we give him the protection fighting style? I feel like we kind of have to, right? Creature you can see targets another creature that is within 5 feet of you. You can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on the roll. It's gotta be. Like, I feel like we're gonna have some fun with the shield, so. Protection. It's gonna have Second Wind, which is very Captain America. E. Bonus action. Heal 1d10 plus fighter level. We got Action Surge. We got Battle Master. So he gets a proficiency in a type of Artisan's Tools. Ooh. artisans, tools, vehicles, land. I think there's another one for fighter, or for soldier, but it's irrelevant. So, combat superiority. I have a sheet for this. I don't know where it is. Combat superiority. Hey, Mud Puppy, welcome. Good to have you here. Yep, throwing, returning. Probably going to be a Sentinel shield, as you said. Probably a +3 Sentinel shield. And there was something else I was thinking of tossing onto it as well. Obviously, it could perform the... wow. The Battlemaster things at range. Yeah, we're leaning more towards the Mud Puppy. We're leaning more towards the cinematic universe Captain America, just because the Iron Man that we made was sort of cinematic universe in theme. It's definitely Steve Rogers, so it's not like you know, Bucky or Falcon or any of those Captain Americas. It's definitely Steve Rogers, but more, like I said, more cinematic universe than anything else, because that's the Iron Man that we made, and they're going to face off in a civil war. Let's see. Okay, I'm getting distracted. Combat superiority. So he's got to choose. He's going to get some maneuvers. He's going to get 3 maneuvers. Let me see if I can pull up my... what's it called? My... Battlemaster 5e fighter sheet. Let's see if this is it. Let me open this real quick. This is it. Hang on. Let me just go download this real quick, guys. Come on, I'm not logged into the DMs Guild. What is going on here? Alright, let's open this up. Here we go. Oh, the guy added it to the DMs Guild. It wasn't on the DMs Guild originally. I think this is the sheet. I hope so, because if it's not, then I did all this for nothing. Come on. For those of you who recognize, who remember my old Simon Belmont, the very first It Builds character, this is the sheet that I use. This is not the sheet that I use, but it's close enough. So, here we go. So we got Captain America. He knows 3 maneuvers. And we'll use this. So, 3 maneuvers. He's got 4 superiority dice. And close this out. And this. And this. Open this up. Alright. So, we see that there's some features here that he has. So, let's go over here. Let's choose Cap's 3 maneuvers. So, I think we kind of already talked about how trip attack and disarming attack are Captain America-y things that he could do by throwing the shield. And we could give him either Commander's Strike, possibly, or Parry, perhaps, to reduce the damage die. Precision attack is never a bad thing, as it just lets you add, just lets you get the chance to add something to it, to one of your attacks. And I think Riposte is, you know, when the creature misses you, yeah, you can make a melee weapon attack. So we'll probably take a handful. So let's go over to our Battlemaster sheet. We're going to start with tripping attack. There we go, disarming attack. And then we'll go with, I don't know, Commander's Strike. Hey, Frog Toys, man, I love seeing it when all you guys come popping in. I like seeing when all you guys pop in, people I haven't seen in a while. It's always great to see familiar faces come pop in when they can. So let's see, we're gonna know 2 additional maneuvers. So we're gonna give him Riposte. And so we got Trip, Disarm, Commander, Riposte, and we'll probably give him Precision. Precision Strike. And that's it. We're probably going to get some more via feats, but we'll see what else we can get. So his maneuver DC is going to be 8. Let's see, this is 6. This is another 6. So that's going to be 10 and 8. It's going to be 18 for his maneuvers. Okay, so we'll come back to what they actually do later. They're also going to upgrade. He's going to get another superiority die at 7, so this is 5. And at level 10, his superiority guys go to D10s. So these are actually D10. Alright, and this is currently 5. Alright. So back to, I'm just going to say, see additional sheet. Alright. So what else does he get? He gets Know Your Enemy. Okay. Know your enemy. And this is take 1 minute to study a creature. Is it an action? No, the DM just tells you that. Okay. DM tells you the following, or tells you 2 of the following. And it is Strength, Dex, Con. Strength, Dex, Con. AC. Current HP. There's like 2 more. Total class levels. Class levels. Fighter class levels. Jimahani, how much forethought do I put into these characters? With the exceptions of ones that I don't know anything about, usually none. And I do heavily, no, by all means, Frog's Toy, ask away. You guys can, obviously, this is a forum for me to build characters, but also to interact with you guys once a week as best I can. When I build these characters, the only time I do research ahead of time is, like I said, if it's a character I don't know. Like, I was fully honest when I built Ichigo from Bleach and Guts from Berserk. Those are just 2 animes that I haven't had a chance to watch. So I relied heavily on the chat's input and my own research. But for most of the characters that you see, I'm familiar with them enough that I can usually build them. And I built so many characters over the course of 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons that I can usually kind of come up with these on the fly. So Cap is obviously someone that I'm quite familiar with, as are most of the Marvel characters, but if you look back through the videos, I will very clearly state, like, up front, I don't know much about this character. Or I know tertiary things about this character because I watched the movie that they were in once. And while I'll recognize that, hey, I may not know a lot about this character from the source material, like when I built Hellboy, for instance, I am familiar with the movie Hellboy played by Ron Perlman, which I know is not the source material. But I usually build them off of a version of them that I know, and then allow you guys in the chat to throw in things to remind me. Yes, Mud Puppy, this is my brand new DX Racer that I won at PAX East. Okay, so let's move on. Sorry for going off on a little bit of a tangent there, guys. $100+. My friend, I wish they were $100. I would have had one a lot earlier. This particular chair, and I'm not saying that it's necessarily worth it, but this chair behind me is a $479 chair. Do I think it's worth $479? I don't know. I don't really think so. Not this chair specifically. I'm not going to complain because this DX Racer was free. I won it in a tournament, so I can't argue with that. It does not have a cup holder. If you guys really want, I will do a full video review of this DX Racer chair if that's something you guys are interested in. I don't want to belabor too much this video about it, but it is comfortable, and it does have some nice perks about it, the way things move about. But yeah, I will do a separate video about this chair. I sat in a lot of gaming chairs because I was gonna buy one this weekend, and then, you know, fates aligned and I got the chair. Alright, so let's jump back in to Captain America. So we hit level 4. We now need to take a feat. So, as we discussed earlier, Shield Master is a no-brainer for Captain America. I feel like you kind of would be doing a horrible disservice to yourself as a character builder and to Cap if you didn't go ahead and put in Shield Master as one of his feats. So, for those of you who don't know, if you take attack action on your turn, you can make a shove attack as a bonus action. There's 2 other parts of them. If you aren't incapacitated, add your shield bonus to dex saves, right? Dex saves that only target you. Your shields, AC bonus to dex saves that target only you. If you pass a dex save versus damage, you can use your reaction to take 0 damage. Or no damage. Yes, if you take... Oh, did I write attack the attack? Oh my god, thank you for the heads up. If you take the attack action. Yes, I also, as you can see, don't really go back and reread what I write. So, Shield Master feat. We're going to go over here. We're going to go extra attack. 3 total. Then we're going to get at 6. We're going to get another feat. Alright, so Cap just got himself another feat at level 6. His stats are pretty baller due to the Super Soldier Serum. I don't really feel like we need to raise his stats at all. I think he's in a pretty good spot. So let's see what kind of fun we can have with feats with Captain America. So we could give him the Alert feat. They give him the bonus to Initiative. But we are going to give him a Sentinel shield, so that'll give him like advantage on that, on top of other things. Now, I can hear you saying, well, why doesn't Cap have the Athlete feat? And I would argue that you're probably correct. Maybe he should have the Athlete feat. Climbing doesn't happen, he can make better jumps. And maybe we'll just give it to him. And that's the end of the story. We just do that. Charger is okay, but the fact that he'd have to give up 3 attacks to make a dash makes it less than favorable. Grappler is okay, but actually, Grappler's really not okay at all, to be honest. I was waiting for somebody to make an athlete's foot joke about that. As soon as I started talking, I was like, whatever, I'm done. Yeah, Tavern Brawler we might look at. So let's take a look at some of these, alright? So if we took Grappler, he could use his action to pin a grappled creature, and he gets advantage on attacks against creatures he's grappling. You could argue that Cap is lucky, but I'd say he's more skill than luck in a lot of situations. We're probably going to attempt to take this at least once, Martial Adept, to get 2 more maneuvers and an additional superiority die. That's not a bad thing to take. We could take Mobile to increase his movement speed by 10. Give him extra difficult terrain if he decides to dash. Melee, so he can get away without provoking attacks of opportunity if he attacks. And then he actually has Inspiring Leader for being a human, Jim. So we gave him that at the start because of that very fact. Resilient wouldn't be a bad thing. Potentially resilient wisdom. And then tough obviously makes some sense. Tavern Brawler, proficient with unimprovised weapons and unarmed strikes. Unarmed strike use D4. Hits creature with an unarmed strike. He can use a bonus action to attempt to grapple. So there's a lot of options. Again, even if he does an unarmed strike right now, you're proficient in unarmed strikes, no matter what. So if he hits somebody with it, he does a minimum of 7 points, or he does 7 points of damage with a punch, which is pretty strong, I say, considering a lot of the way the other people will be dealing unarmed strikes. So I'm thinking, I don't know. We're gonna, you know what? Because we have some to spare, we're gonna give him Martial Adept, just one of them at least here. We can always add or change stuff up. So this goes up to 6, and this goes up to 7. So we're gonna add in 2 more combat maneuvers. Battlemaster. What else we got here? We could give him Rally, kind of makes some sense, but he has Inspiring Leader, so I feel like that sort of deals with that section of it. Let's see. Maneuvering attack sort of makes sense, repositioning your allies. Pushing attack, knocking people back. That's not a bad one either. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with maneuvering attack and pushing attack. Pushing attack. This is a pushing strike. Pushing attack. So now we have all of our Captain America abilities. He has 7 maneuvers that he could choose from. He also now has 6 superiority dice that are D10s with a save of a DC, or save DC of 18. So that gives him the opportunity to throw around quite a bit of stuff. So that is his level 6 was that. Level 7 we already handled. That was his Know Your Enemy. Okay, so now we're level 8, so we get another ability score improvement. So we have Shield Master, we have Martial Adept once. Now comes where we start to dive into, and I don't think there's any good ones in Xanathar's that are worth looking into. Let's see. You should see, yeah. Pathfinder or 3-5 will get you a pretty crazy time. So let's see. Alert. We could give him immunity to surprise. I don't necessarily think that that's accurate for Captain America, though. Athlete, the standing up, the additional jump distance, and the climbing is probably realistic. Yeah, it's Prodigy, I think, so it doesn't really fit Cap too well, the Prodigy feat, so we'll skip that. We could give him Tough if we really wanted to just give him more HP. I paid my team 2 pizzas to make mine. Hey, if that's the way you want to roll, that's up to you. Let's see here. Could give him Mobile. I wish Mobile gave you a +1 to Dex, but it doesn't. There isn't really a thrown weapon feat in 5e. It's just sort of you kind of do your own thing. We're just going to give the shield the ability to be thrown, and that's going to kind of make up for that, I think. 5 feet of you for looking at opportunity. So we could give him Sentinel, because Sentinel is sort of a cap type thing. The hitting an enemy with an opportunity attack and dropping them to 0 isn't really cap, but when a creature within 5 feet of you makes an attack against a target other than you, you can use your reaction, but he's probably going to use his reaction to do the protection fighting style. So we'll skip over that again. Yeah, I'm sort of looking at either Resilient to possibly boost his Wisdom, to give him proficiency in Wisdom saving throws. Possibly Mobile for the extra movement speed and the dashing stuff. Let's go with, you know, we still have one more to mess around with, so let's go with Mobile for now, for level 8. So Mobile, Feat, Martial Adept, Feat. So this is going to increase his movement speed to 40. When dashing, difficult terrain doesn't slow down. I think that's what it does. I could be making that up. No, okay. And if you make a melee attack against a creature, creature, they don't, yeah, sorry, you don't provoke attacks of yeah, Jim, you could be right. I mean, we tried to not make the Super Soldier Serum super ridiculous. I'm sure his intelligence was increased. I mean, his stats are pretty bananas as they are. I mean, this is, let's see. 2, 1, 2, 3. I mean, as it is, he is already above average human intelligence, which would be a 10. So, you know. Frog Toys, we could talk about that offline if you want. I would absolutely, if you had a character concept that you wanted to make, I'd have to know the game that you were going to be playing in and the parameters of the character you wanted to build. But we could absolutely have a conversation about that. Okay, so we got that. Then we had level 10 was the increase in the superiority die, 11 was the third attack, and then 12 is the last ability score. So we have one more ability score improvement for Captain America right now. So he's currently an inspiring leader, he's a shield master, he's got extra abilities, he's mobile, so he's got some extra movement speed. He's looking pretty sweet. We're just gonna go ahead and put shield here because we know that that's coming. This is currently 2. So, I mean, we could take Martial Adept again, get another superiority die, and get 2 more maneuvers, even though the maneuvers kind of, we're getting into like the less good maneuvers at this point. Or we could take, I guess, maybe Athlete to give ourselves, I mean, a +1 dex doesn't really do anything for him, but standing up from prone with 5 feet of movement's okay. Mounted combat because of motorcycle. Yeah, I mean, I guess theoretically. Climbing doesn't have his speed, and his long jump, he only has to move 5 feet rather than 10. I don't know if that's super useful to have, you know? We'll see. It doesn't really provide too much, the motorcycle, compared to... and I don't, you know, mounted combat's so rare. Oh, I think what he, you know, I think what Axel's saying, Mud Puppy, is the feats in here are a lot better than in the 3.5 because they come a lot, like, they're less frequent. Whereas you could do a whole bunch of shit to get feats, and, like, half of your class features just gave you feats in 3.5. Like, oh, I take 2 levels in this class, I get 3 feats, or whatever the case may be. So, because they're harder to come by in 5th edition, they're a little bit stronger. I mean, we could do Cap as Observant if you guys really want to. But, I don't know, it just doesn't sit right with me. He is good, he's an observant guy, and his passive perception increasing is not a bad thing. I just... This is the conundrum you run into, where you start having all these ability score improvements to just throw around. What do you do? Hmm. He is charismatic. We do have some charisma going on here. So... yeah, we might just take Martial Adept for a second time. You know, more ability score, or more superiority dice is never a bad thing. Let's just do that. Yeah, or tough. I guess that's the toss-up, right? So, let's go with... alright. Tough versus Martial Adept. Where do we land, folks? I'll let the internet decide. Tough or Martial Adept? We got one for tough. What are we seeing? I'm curious to see what you guys' thoughts are. Tough. That's 2 for tough. I think tough's probably gonna win, based on this. The fact that we had 3 people sort of already suggest it. Well, we don't think these stats are gonna change, so we can go ahead and start filling these in. Well, you guys give me your thoughts here. Alright, Dex 6. This is a 6. 7. 2. I'm sorry, that's a 1. 2. 1. His passive perception is a 16, so it's not like it's too bad. 2. Alright. So we'll go with tough then. Get him an extra 24 HP. Alright. So, we did that. So let's go ahead and do a quick calculation on his HP. So with tough, he's gonna get 12 a level. 12, so that's 132 plus 2 plus 10. So he's gonna have 150 HP. So that's not a bad place to be. So let's go down and design the shield. So Captain America's shield. Okay. So this is a vibranium shield. It functions as a +3 Sentinel's shield. Deals 1d8 bludgeoning damage. You know what? I think I'm gonna theme it after the Dwarven Thrower. So deals 1d8 bludgeoning damage, melee. Has a throwing range of 20, 60. Actually, you know what? Captain America is so proficient, has a range of 60 feet. Hits his... he could just throw it the whole range. He doesn't have to worry about 20, 60. He's just got... I'm fine with that. Throwing range of 60 feet. And... returns to the user after each attack. If hit... if the shield is thrown... it deals an additional 1d8 bludgeoning damage. So that makes it like a Dwarven Thrower, which is a +3 throwable weapon. This just has the max range rather than the short and long range. Mixed with a Sentinel shield and a regular old shield. And part of me is wondering if we should throw in the arrow-catching shield at the same time on top of this. Is it Shield of Arrow Catching? Or Arrow Catching Shield? That's the shield of missile attraction. I think it's arrow catching shield. Watch your eyes, folks, as we flip through these. I thought about giving him sharpshooter for... So the arrow catching shield is a +2 shield against ranged attacks. And whenever a creature is within 5 feet of you, you can use your reaction to become the target of that attack instead. But let's add a couple of the caveats now that I'm thinking about it. This shield can be used to perform any Battlemaster maneuvers. I spelled that really wrong. Maneuvers at shield's maximum throwing distance. It can also be used to provide the protection fighting style. Oh, 60 feet. Let's just make that up to 60 feet. The sheet. 60 feet. Yes. No, we're definitely going to give him armor for sure. They definitely don't mention it in the movie, but he has armor, and as a function of the way things work in 5th edition, we're definitely going to include the armor for sure. Alright, so right now, this shield allows him to not be surprised. It gives him advantage on initiative. It is a +3 shield, so his AC right there, base, is a 15. Actually, his AC, because it's a +3 shield, he starts off with 12. +5, so his AC is 17 with just the shield. It does a D8 bludgeoning damage if he hits with melee. It does 2d8 if he throws it. It comes back after each attack. It can allow him to perform his Battlemaster maneuvers out to 60 feet. And it allows him to use his protection fighting style out to 60 feet as well. I don't know if we need to add the shield, arrow catching shield ability, where he can get a +2 versus ranged attacks, and then also use it to become the target of the attack. I don't really think that that's necessary. I'm going to leave that up to you guys in the chat, but I am going to go ahead and give him his armor, which I think we're going to call... I don't want to call it chainmail, because that would set the number. Well, we could. I guess we could just make it mithril chainmail. That's not unreasonable. Yeah, that's fine. Let's just call it mithril chainmail. So it doesn't provide him any negatives to his stealth checks or anything like that. So mithril chainmail would make his AC a 16. No, Thaco is not a thing anymore. Thaco has been gone for many, many years. The higher the better is the case now in Dungeons & Dragons. So he's at a 21 AC because his shield adds +5. So chainmail puts him at 16. And then... Yeah, well, it's mithril chainmail, so it makes it so he doesn't have disadvantage at stealth. So... Well, that's, again, Salami, that's why we went with mithril chainmail, because mithril removes the disadvantage on stealth. Yes, Thaco stayed in 2nd edition, and it can stay there, as far as I'm concerned. So, right now, he's rocking a 21 AC with his mithril chainmail and his nasty shield. So let's put in the shield bonus. So that's a 13 to hit. Does 1d8 plus 9 damage. So that's not too shabby. I don't really know if we need to add much else to Cap's character sheet. You know? Oh, we did put in his charisma saving throw. It's a 3. So, yeah, I mean, I'll just do our quick once-over, and if anything jumps up. So, Captain America is a human. He's a variant human. We gave him the Inspiring Leader feat as his human ability, because he was still a leader regardless of his Super Soldier Serum powers. Then we gave him the Super Soldier Serum, which set his strength and con to 22, provides him resistance to poison damage and advantage on saving throws versus poison. It also gives him a minor healing factor when he's below half health. He has the Protection Fighting Style to help shield allies from attacks using his shield. He has Second Wind for a little bit of healing. He has Action Surge. Oh, we didn't put in Indomitable. We forgot about that. So that's re-roll a failed saving throw. Once for a long rest. Okay, so let's go back. So he has Combat Superiority, which is this whole sheet, where he has all of these different maneuvers, which I will end up filling in. 7 maneuvers to be exact, 6 dice to use those maneuvers with a DC of 18, rolling an extra d10 to potentially add to damage or some abilities. He has the ability to know his enemy if he studies them for a little while. He has 3 total attacks. He has 1 use of Indomitable to reroll a failed saving throw. He is a shield master, so he can shove somebody, whether it's back or prone, to make attacks with his shield. He gets to add +5 to his dex saves if a dex attack only targets him. And if he passes that dex save, he can use his reaction to interpose the shield in the way, reducing the damage to 0 at the cost of his reaction. He's also mobile, so he's increased movement speed. He can dash over difficult terrain without slowing down. And when he makes a melee attack against a creature, he doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity from him, regardless of whether he hits or misses. And he is tough, so he has some extra HP. And then again, we gave him Mithril Chainmail to match his micro chainmail armor from the comic books. And then we gave him his legendary Vibranium Shield, which is a +3 Sentinel shield that does extra damage, or does melee damage, extra damage if thrown, and allows him to extend the range of his Protection Fighting Style and his Battle Master tactics. I think that's pretty good, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're live here with us in Twitch. Let me know if you think I missed anything for Captain America. I feel like we covered pretty much his whole character, and again, if you imagine you rode out Captain America's class up to 20, you'd obviously have a lot of extra HP. You'd have additional, you'd be up to D12s on your superiority dice for your fighter, your Battlemaster fighter tactics. You'll get multiple action surges. You'd get, I think, 2 additional maneuvers. Oh, maybe I misread that. Oh shit, we might have more. So we got 3 to start. Oh, we might have more. Hang on. 3 to start. 2 at 7. 2 at 10. Oh, we have 2 more maneuvers. Because I misread that. I thought it was 1 at 7 and 1 at 10. It's 2 additional maneuvers. Oh yes, Frog Toys. There's a YouTube channel with, as of right now, 937 videos on it. So if you just go to, what is it? YouTube.com/Nerd Immersion. I think that should work. We'll check that out in a sec. You can also catch any of the previous episodes. Well, I'll get into that. So we get 2 more maneuvers. That's the ultimate thing that we didn't figure out before. So now we're going to give him Rally because we can. Rally. And then we're going to give him Parry as well to reduce the damage. So yeah, so he has 3 from the start, right? Or I think I did that right. 3 maneuvers, 2 from level 7, 2 from level 10, 2 from his martial adept feat, so he's got all of the different maneuvers that he's got access to. And yeah, then he said he's tough. He's got a decent amount of HP for a human, and yeah, he should be at top peak fighting condition. So if you'd like to pick up this character sheet, I'm going to save it right now into my It Builds character sheet. So this is IBC 25 Captain America. If you want to learn more about any of the It Builds character stuff that you've witnessed tonight, you can check out the links in that thing I just threw up in chat. IBC Plan is where you can see what I'm planning to make going forward, because I have episodes planned for quite a while. IBC Playlist is to see all of these videos on YouTube, and IBC Sheets is a folder on a Google Drive where you can go in and download any of the sheets from the characters you've seen, if you'd like to pick them up to play them at your own table, or play them in your own game, or do whatever you wish to, use them as NPCs or otherwise. So if we head over to the IBC Plan page, you can see what I've built so far. I think I still have to put a couple links in here. But you can see I've built everything from Tuxedo Mask, from Sailor Moon, to Groot, to Shrek, at various points throughout my character building career. And then again, sometimes you'll see there's days where I missed stuff. Some was convention, some was Twitch broke. This whole week here was when I was dealing with emergency stuff for work, as I work for a utility and we got hit with some storms. Last week was PAX East. This video has to be uploaded, so I'll post that shortly. We did Steve Rogers. Next week is supposed to be the Doctor, specifically an angry 10th Doctor. And then the following week is Hal from Hal's Moving Castle. You can see we got Kim Possible. We got a whole bunch of people all the way to October of this year. And again, all of the videos that I'm building for these going forward are all suggestions from you guys, the fans. The only one that I ever did that was my own personal suggestion was the very first one, which was Trevor Belmont, that I did on my birthday to start this series off last year. Everything else has been a suggestion from you guys. So, if you have additional suggestions for characters you'd like to see me build, you can, of course, comment them now in the Twitch chat, but your best bet is to probably send them on something that's a little bit more stable, like a comment on one of these YouTube videos, message me on Twitter or Facebook or your social media of choice, and I will add your character to the list. And you can see, again, we go from all over the place. We got some biblical characters here. We have comic book characters. You know, we have TV shows. We have video games. You know, we have a Digimon on here. Like, we got a whole bunch of stuff. Like an actual Digimon. I think here's a Bionicle character. Here's a Disney character. Here's a... you also do these concepts. Most viable character with 4 separate character classes. Again, that's the kind of stuff I do too, where people give me a very high-level suggestion, and then I build the character with my own expertise rather than trying to fit them into a pre-existing mold. So thank you to everybody who showed up here in the chat. If you guys didn't know, I guess as some of you didn't, you know what, Mud Puppy? I didn't put Ted the Bard's character sheet up, but I can do that. I will put that on the Rise of Tiamat for the Dragon Queen page for people to check out Ted the Bard from the suggested NPC. And if you guys do like any of our various shows, we do have pages for pretty much all of them. I'll take a quick tour over to nerdimmersion.com, and then we'll call this video a night. Or an end, and we'll call it good night. As you can tell, my streaming status thing is not working, which I'm going to have to get rid of. But anyway, you can see here's the website where I post most of my videos, and there are some articles here. So you can see there's all stuff if you want to learn about us. There's a whole big section just for Dungeons & Dragons and some video games. There's some cooking. We used to have a cooking show we did on YouTube. There's like 9 episodes of that. There's a section for news. I used to do reviews of everything, so there's stuff kicking around. If you want to get a hold of me, you can. Our cosplay and convention coverage is also in here, but you guys are here for Dungeons & Dragons. So, as you can see, I've done a bunch of Dungeons & Dragons stuff. These are just our campaigns, so if you want to see what campaigns we're currently playing in, here they all are. Some of these are completed, like let's say our Out of the Abyss playthrough. You can click on this one, and it'll show you a little bit about it. There's a link to all the episodes, and then a link to the character sheets. I try to get everybody to update their character sheets, but they never do. So, for instance, this is my homebrew campaign, Everend, right here. We do have the homebrew rules for it. We don't have any of the character sheets up to date yet, but we will have those soon. And I haven't actually uploaded the page for Evil campaign yet, but I will. You get a point. You can see all that stuff. There's also things like my 5th edition reviews. There's a ton of videos for this where I've reviewed all manner of 5th edition content. Me and Sean did this way back when. We've also added, I've done updated videos. I do unboxings for all sorts of minis and D&D accessories. There's my D&D 101 series, where I kind of give over some intro stuff for people who are getting new to the game. What's Unearthed Arcana, how do actions work, what you need to get started as a player or a DM. I have been very slacking in my weekly update. For about 2 years straight, I did a video every week telling you what was the news in the Dungeons & Dragons universe, and what was happening in the world of minis and new expansions, and I need to get back into that, and that's my bad. DM's Guild Spotlights, Dragon Plus, the D&D magazine. I did a couple DIYs. Some of them need better they need to be shot better. But how to make your own spell cards and make your own dice towers and things like that. And then, yeah, I think the only other thing that's on here is Homebrew. There's not a whole lot here because I haven't gotten around to do it too much. Like, let's see. I think I have a couple of Homebrew classes here. A Luck Domain, a Dragon Totem, a fix to the Artificer, my fix for the 5th edition Ranger, which is probably outdated at this point, considering they did revised Ranger, but it's there. I also have a couple other things, like, some of you guys actually may have seen this one kicking around, was our updated reincarnation table. This needs to be updated to include turtles. Yes, I did get Monster Menagerie 3. In fact, if we were to go over to here and go to unboxings and go to... Actually, I don't have a thing here for it, but if we went to unboxings... here... So, nope. I didn't publish it in here because I'm dumb. Well, I have to update that. But if we were to go here and go to... Where are they? WizKids Miniatures. I'm also in the process of revamping the website. That's happening as well. But you can see here Monster Menagerie 3 and the Kraken Case Incentive. I do unboxings of both of those. Yeah, there's a little bit of homebrew content. I plan to expand that out. I have a bunch of stuff that I haven't gotten around to. The homebrew world, again, does have a map that you can go view. That map is going to update, though, because I don't like it as much as I first did. As well as the list of the homebrew rules we're implementing, if you want to know what that is. But, again, I'm starting to ramble on, guys. So, thank you so much for watching and dealing with my little section of the internet here of nerdimmersion.com. If you guys have any thoughts about what you'd like to see on the website in general, let me know. I'm also in the process of potentially updating things and revamping and getting a new kind of layout, as well as possibly trying to get people to do other things, to write articles and things for me. There are some... We have a whole bunch of wonky stuff from way back in the day if you really search through stuff. I think if you go way back... let's see. If we go way back into the dregs of these videos, I think you can see some reviews and unboxings and things that I've done in the past. and just news about Dungeons and Dragons and RPGs and things, where I'll be at various conventions. But somewhere, oh, this is when I became a dad. Like, there's lots of stuff. But if that's when I did a 30-hour stream for my 30th birthday, what's what we're gonna try to name our stream? Loot Crate. I did the 151 Pokemon naming challenge to see how fast I could type out all how fast could I type out every Pokemon's name from Generation 1. Yeah. Reviews of toys. And see, you can see I had some friends do stuff on the channel way back in the day. Here's the Firefly drinking game that we made up. What we used to play every New Year's. We used to get crazy back in the day. Let's see. Scavenger hunts, playing it. This, probably one of the first things we ever uploaded, was when we tried to do the entire cast of the Harry Potter movies, but only using American actors, rather than using British actors. So you can scroll through, and I'm not going to spoil too much of it, but it's here, it's available. If you guys really want to check it out, there's the link. Enjoy. But anyway, this is about Captain America. So, anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. I've rambled for far too long. I appreciate it. Again, if you guys have questions or thoughts or concerns or things you'd like to do, like to talk about, you can hit me up. On anything any form of social media. If you have questions, you can hit us up on our Discord. Most of the people that you see here in the chat, they are also in our Discord, so if you want to connect with the Nerd Immersion group as a whole, that's the place to do it. So, be on the lookout for a ton more PAX East content. When I get off here, that's literally what I'm going to do. But, let's be nice, and let's go raid somebody on Twitch, because that's a function that we can do now. So let's go see if our good friends are still streaming here. Let's see. Penny Arcade. The Venture Maidens are, so /raid space the Venture Maidens. Well, it looks like their stream froze. Or they're not streaming anymore. Okay. Their stream isn't just frozen for just me, right? Anyway. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you next time.